those who took the inventory answered this question correctly. Okay. Actually, there's already many, but the next best answer, the next most frequent answer is option B. Let's look at option B. Yeah, in terms of proficiency. Again, it's reasonable actually, that we compare them in terms of proficiency, but without information really, on what are the cutoff levels, for the proficiency levels, then we are not really sure if there are differences in proficiency levels, even if there are differences in actual scores. Hence, the best answer is really option A. Okay, for item 12, may I request teacher Mylene?
Hello, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, question number 12. How would a teacher effectively elicit response from the students in the conduct of a review of the previous lesson? Okay, we have here 1, ask questions that have different levels of complexity. 2, distribute the questions to all the students through fishbowl technique. 3, provide a token to every student who could answer the question. 4, make the review more engaging through a game. Okay, option A, we have 1, 2, and 4. Option B, 1, 2, and 3. Option C, 2, 3, and 4. Option D, 1, 3, and 4.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So yeah, it's like the previous item earlier, wherein there are 4 processes. In this case, these are actually also processes or strategies, and we just need to look whether which one of these 4 is the least effective, as a strategy to be done by teachers. Okay, and then once we are able to identify which of these 4 strategies is the least effective, and then we can actually look at the option that excludes that particular strategy. And in this case, the best answer is option A, because it excludes strategy number 3, providing a token to every student who could answer the question. Okay, of course, providing token is acceptable, from time to time, but as we know, tokens, and other form of extrinsic motivation is not really that sustainable. It's always better to develop among our students intrinsic motivation. So we use tokens and other extrinsic motivational strategies from time to time, but we should not overdo it because it's always better, as mentioned, to actually develop intrinsic motivation among our students. And therefore, it's the least effective and it's the least sustainable. So the other strategies, from 1, 2, and 4 are actually better, relative to strategy number 3 of providing token. So asking questions that have different levels of complexity, that's acceptable. Distributing questions to all the students, through fishbowl technique, that's also acceptable. And making the review more engaging through a game, that's also an acceptable way of eliciting illicit response from the students, in the conduct of review on the previous lesson. Again, giving tokens is acceptable, but it's not the most effective, given that it's not sustainable. And of course, we want more intrinsic motivational strategies to be implemented in our classroom. Okay, so more than half of the teachers actually got the this item correctly. Okay, so there's actually in option C and option D, very few selected option B. Okay, so I think, of course, we want it to be closer to 100%, but this is actually better compared to the other earlier items wherein less than 20% of the teachers actually got the correct answer. Okay, next competency is competency 4, and this will cover item 13 and to item 16. Teachers should be skilled in using assessment results when making decisions about individual students, planning, and school improvement. Okay. For the first item in this competency, may I ask Teacher Noreen to read the item stem and the item options?
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Okay, so number 13. When planning for classroom instruction for a unit in your subject, which of these types of information have more potential to be helpful? Norm reference information describes each student's performance relative to other students in a group. Example, percentile ranks and stand-ins. Criterion reference information describes each student's performance in terms of status on specific learning outcomes. Example, number of items correctly answered for each specific objective. A. Options are A. Norm reference information. B. Criterion reference information. C. Most often, norm reference information is more useful in helping plan for instruction. D. Most often, criterion reference is more useful than norm reference information in helping plan for instruction.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So yes, these are both used actually in classroom, typically used norm reference and criterion reference. But the best answer is actually option D. Okay, because most often criterion reference is indeed more useful than norm reference information in helping plan for instruction. Okay, since the question is asking which between norm reference and criterion reference information have more potential to be helpful. So sometimes norm reference actually has more potential given a particular situation or context. That most of the time, okay, most of the time, it's actually criterion reference that's actually more useful. Okay, that's why it's the best answer. So let's see if our teachers who took the test actually got it correctly and how many of them got it correctly. Oh, less than 50%. Surprisingly, less than 50% of the teachers actually got it correctly. So maybe the reason why is that because they answered, as you can see in the data, many actually, it's the second most answered option, criterion reference information. But this particular item, it actually is asking, it's since basically A is similar with C and B is similar with D, then D is the better answer compared to B because it's able to provide a more direct, explicit statement that answers the question or item stem for item 13. So in that case, yeah, it's plausible. It's reasonable that some teachers or many teachers actually selected option B, but option D is the better answer. It provides characterization that actually answer the item stem. Okay, item 14. How do the summative assessment results from the previous school year help you revise, okay, the lesson plan that you will develop for the next school year? Okay, so for those who are watching live, maybe you can answer this. It's asking you, in particular, what will you do? Okay, how will the summative assessment results from the previous school year, last school, for instance, school year 2020-2021, how will it help you revise your lesson plan for the current school year, school year 2021-2022. So is it option A, increase the instructional time for the learning competencies whose prerequisites are not yet fully mastered? Is it option B, remove unnecessary information on the competencies that are not yet mastered? Or option C, use complex teaching methods on the competencies that have not yet been mastered? And option D, remove the learning competencies if they are difficult to master. Okay, so what's your answer? Let's see if you're correct. Yes, it's option A. Okay, increase the instructional time so that those competencies that have not been mastered can be mastered by the students. Otherwise, you cannot really use the same strategy that you use in your next lesson if that's the case. Okay, so you need to be able to make use of that. Remove unnecessary information. You don't want that. Okay, you don't want that. Complex teaching methods, of course, they will find it more difficult even if that's the case. Of course, do not remove the learning competencies. No, they should still be there. No, even if it's difficult to master, it's part of the standards. It's part of the competencies that students should learn. So we should not remove it just because it's difficult.